Hello and welcome back to Soul. Don't forget to hit that like button and obviously smash that subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so let's see if we can hit that goal, and maybe I'll just live stream, because I've been having a lot of questions on whether I should live stream or not, and basically I've come to the realization that if there's not enough subscribers, then obviously nobody's going to watch the live stream, so there's no point. So obviously if I can get enough subscribers, then I know that enough notifications are going to go out and enough people are going to see those notifications, so hopefully that's going to result in enough people wanting to obviously join the live stream. So, yeah, I would really like to do a live stream, but obviously the problem, as I've said, is the lack of viewership count, so I'd just like to do that, and we'll see if we can reach that goal, can't we? We've hit a bit of a snag recently where we just basically hit a dead end for quite a while over here, so I really hope we can get out of this slump where I've had like 3 weeks. We'll see, won't we? And yeah, obviously gonna move over here, and then I'm gonna buff myself up with this hammer. That's really nice. Mechanical expertise. It lasts until the end of the turn, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong though. Revolving ones, that's really nice. So yeah, cool. And yeah, it's a unique ability for the Dwarf Engineer to basically turn any sort of unit into like a fully upgraded unit. So that's really nice indeed. I am happy to let these deep guard get charged because got Oath of Cavalry and Dark Gift, so they got Masterwork Armor, then they're just not gonna fail over here. They're gonna do quite well. And yeah, so there we go. It's a bit of a shame that my lord got charged over here. The Dwarf Engineer is not really a melee expert, so I'd have preferred for him not to be in melee, but here we are. Anyway, and then maybe I can move the Rangers slightly around to hopefully help out the deep guard, although the deep guard I'm pretty sure I'm really confident over here, because yeah, they're just so buffed up that the deep guard, when has the deep guard ever failed? They're just absolute units, absolute tanks over here. So that's all that I expect out of them, just to be absolute units. And so last episode I talked a bit about AI and stuff like that, and yeah, I'm just gonna continue talking about that. Specifically, I'm going to talk about robot taxis from Tesla coming up, and obviously it's a really interesting technology that was actually talked about quite a while ago, but it's just finally coming into the trial phase, because yeah, obviously Tesla is finally confident in this sort of stuff. Now, I have heard some bad stuff about AI taxis. There's more than a few people making complaints that AI taxis have a tendency to ignore certain things. Whatever, some taxis work on sensors, but these Tesla taxis work on images, which is slightly different, because yeah, there's a big difference between sensors and imaging. So imaging is a lot easier to fool, from what I heard. So if you just have like a picture of a banana, then the AI will think there's a banana in front of it. So if you can imagine that, it's a lot easier to fool this type of technology, because if you put an image of like a stop sign, it will quite literally read a stop sign, and it will stop. So if you just have like a wrap around your car that's just like a stop sign, it will interfere with the workings of the AI and could potentially cause a crash. So that's something to think about. Oh no, it persists. Yeah, it persists. So yeah, there we go. It does persist. So it just straight up upgrades an entire unit. That's very nice indeed. But yeah, stuff like that, I guess, is something to think about. And there's also been that complaints about AI parking, and how sometimes the AI cars get stuck in an infinite loop, specifically where like they drive into a place where they have no information about. So we're talking about unrecognized dead ends or anything like that. So if there's no stop sign or a dead end sign, the AI can just drive into it, and then that's basically it, stuck, and it wouldn't know how to leave or what to do in this sort of situation. So stuff like that is really common with AI. So it'll always have flaws, because it's not truly genuine, self-learning. It's based on a data set and a bunch of images. So stuff like that is always going to be a problem with AI. There was like a while back, wasn't there? It was like in Canada, there was like ambulances getting rear-ended by AI programs and stuff like that, and self-driving cars, because they were just not recognizing ambulances as actual vehicles or obstacles. And then there was the whole leak about how AI prioritize car safety and whatever else, where they like what's the word? They have like almost like a scale rating from 1 to 10, or of like a danger to the car, and if the AI basically runs into into a situation where it has to crash into a lamppost or into a person. It has like an actual rating of which one will be a softer crash and which one it should crash into. So stuff like that have been really controversial. It's just a bunch of ethical questions regarding AI, which is why these self-driving cars are just, there's people that like them and people that dislike them quite a bit. Obviously people that don't want to talk to other people kind of like don't care. Obviously the people that drive taxis, they care quite a lot because these AI cars could potentially be a lot cheaper than the taxi driver, even if the AI cars might not be able to tell you as much as the taxi driver, and if I see a potential threat to AI cars regarding thefts, because there's no real driver behind. It's a lot easier to just vandalize them and stuff like that. So I see that sort of threat behind them, because you're not really gonna vandalize a car when there's like the chauffeur right in front of you. So I see those sort of problems where they're gonna cost more to upkeep, but also see the benefits where it's gonna be cheaper just because you don't need a person. But then I feel like this is going to be the whole self-checkout situation where, it works at first, but then when, it goes public to the masses, it doesn't really work out all that well. Because, there's a lot of different people, and some people think that, if they're going to be in the self-checkout, they're going to give themselves a discount. Which, it's something that needs to be dealt with by the government and by the shops. Maybe put security guards on the self-checkout. You can't exactly leave the self-checkout unattended in that case. And if that causes the self-checkout to be less efficient because you actually have to pay for someone to be there, so it kind of defeats the point of no people having to be on the self-checkout, then so be it. If self-checkouts need constant people watching them, then that's the price of self-checkout. The whole point of self-checkouts in the beginning was to have self-checkouts that if you had like 3 grocery items, you didn't have to go into a massive line with people that had 50. That was the whole point of self-checkouts. Sure, combat rolls against monsters, that'll be really nice, especially for dwarfs, which have a big problem with monsters, although we do have a lot of power. But yeah, if you go against something like the lizard bed where they have like 3 triceratops, I can imagine the problems there. So yeah, increase skill, why not, just to make sure that the hits land. The 2 hits that we do have, yeah, why not make sure that they do land. I'll pick a cannon, why not, just to annoy the enemies even more. Now they're forced to come to us because we can deal with practically anything. So yeah, that's really nice. I really like this. We got quite a scary army. And yeah, additional attack, or yeah, sure, why not? Newly recruited units gain an additional level, why not? Dwarf Engineer is all about buffing up the army because he's not a melee expert, is he? So might as well add that. Yeah, sure, unit size, why not? Always useful to have more crossbowmen in this case. Well then, let's see what we have here. So I believe I have quite a good setup over here. Yeah, I'm just kind of corner camping, as anyone would like to call it, because yeah, it's a shameless strategy, but if it gets me the win, I'll do it no matter what, especially when we're doing fighting against the undead. And the whole point of the undead is the fact that they basically have a bunch of units that are supposed to wear you down over time. So obviously having the ability to just casually, I could have probably moved this guy back down over here, so then he could have had more time to prepare for the enemies, but okay, whatever, doesn't really matter. But yeah, the whole point of the undead is that they wear you down over time. So yeah, I am gonna wear them down instead over time, because why not? I'm definitely not in a hurry to fight them, so whatever. So cool. And obviously, let's see, I am gonna use a special ability over here. Yeah, well, sure, why not? I'm gonna deal with a lord or wait, I guess. So again, waits have now melee lords and stuff like that from the AI. Didn't used to have all these spells, but now they do, and it's really nice. And Holy Vigor, Eternal Vein, and Relentless. I'm pretty sure Relentless is just an enchantment, but yeah, two spells is definitely quite nice. I didn't used to always have that, so again, big buff to AI. And yeah, just makes them a bit more dangerous, makes the battles a bit more fun, because you never know what to expect regarding their spells, and it actually puts pressure on you to get rid of the enemy captains, because the enemy captains are in fact coming for you, and they're going to be trying to get rid of you, basically. So no charges don't want to be charging in, I want to be kiting enemies. And yeah, I want to talk about some shrinkflation currently, specifically targeting my strudels. So I recently got a strudel and I baked it, and yeah, the size, I haven't had a strudel in quite a while, so I was kind of surprised by how different the size was. In the past the strudel was it wasn't large, but it definitely wasn't small, don't get me wrong. But now I had to look at the strudel size, and in the past, if I put it like diagonally across the strudel would in fact not actually fit on my tray, cooking tray. It would actually be like hanging off the side slightly, and it had slightly less segments. But now the strudel is much smaller because it now fits entirely on my cooking tray. And also the segments are also smaller, but yeah, there is more of them, so it's easier to cut it. I guess that's the benefit. But as I've said before, downside is kind of major in the fact that it's smaller. It's just significantly smaller by at least 10%. That's what I'm going to say immediately. And also when I ate it, I also noticed the fact that the strudel is just not as doesn't have as much pastry inside of it. So the pastry that it does have inside of it is just a lot less. And it's just a really terrible experience, I'm not going to lie. Okay, right then. I'd like for the deep card to be charged by these guys, because the deep card, they have a bunch of buffs, so if the deep card get charged, it's kind of whatever. Attack the Weight Lord, try to get rid of him, and yeah, nice, there we go, cool. That's really nice, I'm not going to lie. And then there's just a bunch of these guys. I don't really care about what they do, I mean, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to intercept their Weight Lord though, so that he doesn't charge into my crossbows. As for everything else, I'm going to pass some turns. We'll see what the wolves do. Okay, the wolves are all the way over there, that's fine. I don't really care about the wolves. And then shall I try to shoot him down? I mean, we should try to get rid of him, shouldn't we? Okay, unfortunately that doesn't work out. I'm not going to waste the rest of my shots just try to get rid of a single Weight Lord. Might as well just try to get rid of some zombies, because that'll be more worth my time, wouldn't it? And obviously try to kite them as well, because I got flying, so it does, yeah, terrain doesn't really bother me all that much. And yeah, these deep guys are going to absolutely demolish these skeleton knights, so kind of whatever. I'm going to counter charge as well, because I got weapons and shields, so I get bonus from charging. And then, oh, why not charging them as well, because bonus from charging, I might as well make full use of that. And then yeah, what else have I got on here? So I also got custard. So obviously with the strudel you also get a custard. Obviously, it's the law. No, it's not, but it's kind of miserable to just eat a strudel. I don't really like McDonald's strudels. Oh, do they call them apple pies? I'm pretty sure they just call them apple pies, even though it's a strudel. So yeah, I don't really like those because they come without any sort of custard or anything like that. It's just it's just a baked good, and it tastes a lot like a strudel, but yeah, without the custard. So obviously I don't really like it, because you need custard with that sort of stuff, even though it's really unhealthy for you. That, yeah, I'll admit that it's not good food. Too many calories. I'm gonna walk around over here and then just shoot these guys. Cool. So yeah, try to get rid of them like I did with the other unit. Unfortunately, not as good rolls, not as many rolls going through, and not as many rolls. Yeah, they're not failing as many rolls as they did previously. And yeah, this is just so nice. 2 attacks per deep card. Absolutely devastating on the enemies. That was so lucky that we got Dark Gift. Unbelievably lucky indeed. What do I want to do? I will just let myself be charged over here, because yeah, whatever. I can't be bothered sacrificing my Dwarf Engineer just for a single unit of Dwarf Veterans. Yeah, and obviously continue shooting these guys. Hopefully a few more go through. Yeah, there we go. That's 3. That's enough to get rid of them fully. Move these guys slightly forward and then turn them around so I can charge these guys in the side. That's perfectly fine. There we go. And obviously shoot these guys. No, I can't. Okay, that's a bit sad. I'm not gonna lie. That I basically moved by cannon, and then it literally got no value whatsoever. So okay, right, that's a bit of a shame, but here we are. And I'm just going to continue kiting, and I'm going to continue attacking these zombies, because there's no real reason for me not to continue attacking them from behind. I got the advantage here. They don't have any sort of ranged or anything, so I've noticed that a lot of armies that you do find in this sort of Act 1 boss are lacking in a lot of aspects, unlike the Act 2 boss, which usually has all their bases covered. They have cavalry, they have a good frontline unit in the form of like Dwarf Veterans or something like that, or maybe they have like a large unit of Orc Warriors supported by a really stronger Orc War Chief. Stuff like that just makes the game a lot more difficult, so it's nice to see that. Confirm this. And then, as you can see, this deep guard is just absolutely demolishing the skeleton knights. The off of cavalry, just attacks against cavalry and chariots are rerolled. It's just so devastating. 2 attacks, 5 skill, and you reroll. But it's just so devastating. Wow, that's absolutely terrible. And then, yeah, these skeleton warriors, they're attacking the back of some dwarf veterans. So I'm expecting some good rolls from dwarf veterans to prevent themselves from dying. A lot better than having the crossbow unit be sandwiched, because if it was the crossbow unit, they'd be doing a lot worse, wouldn't they? So I can just continue kiting these guys, I guess. There's no real reason again for me to go into melee. And then whilst I have on here, and I got pork belly. So yeah, pork belly with a crackle on it is really nice. It's just like I love chewing it. It just really yeah, it's just really chewy, and it's just really nice, and I really like it. So, and these guys took damage. That's very nice. Not as much as I would have hoped, but one took D3 and one took D2. So I can't be too upset. I mean, that's quite decent. Yeah, definitely better than just getting like a 1. That's for sure. Nothing really over here. So I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna move all the way over here slowly because dwarfs are not known for their speed. We're rather a slow race, aren't we? So yeah, it's really nice, these rolls, especially with the dwarf engineer's ability to just straight up buff the unit. Obviously, when this flying machine gets upgraded slightly more, I'll just straight up start buffing the cannon instead. But yeah, I should probably just start taking money on the cannon, shouldn't I? Yeah, that's a good plan. So after this, I'm just going to start taking money on the cannon, and then that'll be my plan, wouldn't it? A very effective plan. So yeah, that's cool. So that single zombie isn't going to do much, so kind of whatever. Taking damage. These guys took damage, those guys didn't, so that's really interesting. I am going to have to kite those guys now. Alright, so yeah. Although I could charge them, no, I don't think I will. Just let them do their thing, and then obviously I can come around and, you know, attack them from behind or something. But not right now, because, yeah, if I do attack right now, the crossbows are not going to do well, and then it's just going to reflect poorly on me, because I'm myself not going to do well. So just, yeah, avoid that, that's for sure. I guess if the enemies had a lot more, like, single entities, I could definitely use the buff on the cannon instead. That's where, you know, I guess the Dwarf Engineer excels at. He could just buff a single unit and make it almost endgame tier. Because, yeah, if having rerolls of 1s is just so strong. And we got a bunch of attacks off because it was just the undead. And then obviously these are zombies attacking us, so they're not going to have a lot of attacks go through. And obviously, just to make sure, oh, well, I guess out of ego, I'm just going to charge in the Dwarf Engineer over here. It's not like the enemies are going to fully disintegrate when they lose a morale check, because, yeah, they just crumble. And that's one of the benefits of the undead. You can't actually rout them off the field, which is definitely quite scary. So, yeah, there we go. That's a nice battle indeed. Not too easy, not too difficult. So, very nice indeed. I like that a lot. So just gonna level up myself slightly. Plus some power to range attacks, rerolling 1s on range attacks. I guess plus some power and range attacks is nice. Just make sure that it goes through even more and it goes through enemies. So obviously take money on this guy. I already said I was gonna do that, so I might as well do what I said I was gonna do. So there we go. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.